Pterodactyl here, and today's video is going to be on this here Toro Titan. Now gather around, grass rats, because it's story time. And you've probably heard this story before, but it's got a different twist to it. Okay, so a little while back we did a video where a customer called me and had me pick up their mower from the other local dealer that's around here that doesn't seem to be able to hire anybody that knows how to fix any of these mowers. Well, guess what? This mower came from that same shop. Now, the guy that bought this is a commercial mowing company, and he bought 2 of these. And he paid extra for the extended warranty. So if he had any issues, he could take it back there and he could get it taken care of. Well, guess what? This thing is not charging the battery. Now, I think this mower is probably less than a year old, but it keeps killing the battery. And he told me he's had it back to this dealer who he bought it from and paid for an extended warranty 5 times, maybe more. So it keeps killing the battery, and every time they pick it up, they say it's fixed, and it keeps killing the battery. So he said, I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. I got yards to mow. This is bogging me down. It keeps killing the battery. We got to keep jumping it. Will you look at it and fix it? I know you can't do the warranty because I'm not a Toro dealer or a Kohler dealer. So he goes, I'm going to pay you. I'll pay you whatever it costs to fix. Do you think you can fix it? Because they don't seem to be able to. Like it's a challenge. And I said, bring it in. I'll take a look at it. It's got to be something simple. Again, it's a lawnmower. It's not the space shuttle. So they brought it in. The battery was totally dead. They put a new battery in it. And it keeps killing this new one. So I had to charge it up so we could, do some tests on it so we can figure out why it's not charging the battery. So I got Mr. Test Light here. This is Mr. Test Light. Hi, Taryl. Am I going to test something? Yeah, you're going to test this battery. We're going to show our fans out there and viewers that the battery has got juice in it. It's charged up. I just charged it. Then we're going to take our meter. We're going to put it across the battery and we're going to see if it's charging. So I got to put my spectacles on. Where did I put them? I've already lost. Oh, here they are. I found them. All right, so let's fire it up, fire it up. Shut up. So there's no change. There should be change on the meter. It didn't change. That 13.25 volts in there, that's for me charging the battery. When I throttle it up and down, that voltage number should change because we're speeding it up and slowing it down. Now, the alternator for this engine is under the flywheel. And this component here is the voltage regulator. So we're going to test that. So I'm going to undo this plug under here. And we've got 3 wires. These 2 white wires are coming from the alternator. They're AC voltage. This purple wire is the one that sends the 12 volts out and back to the battery to charge it. So we want to test the alternator to see if the alternator is working. So I got a couple of little jumper wires here that I'm going to use so I can stick them in that plug. And then we're going to take our meter and we're going to set it to AC voltage now. See, before I had it set to DC because the voltage regulator takes the AC voltage from the alternator and converts it to DC voltage. So now we got it set to AC. I can set this here where it won't fall. And we'll clip these on. I don't want them to touch anywhere while we're doing this test. So maybe I can hold them. And then we're going to look at the meter when I start it, and we're going to see what kind of voltage we're getting out of the alternator. So we had 44 volts when it was at full throttle, and then it went down to 24. So the alternator is good. There's nothing wrong with the alternator. So maybe it's the voltage regulator. Let me hook this back up. Let me plug this back in. So now we're going to test this regulator rectifier. Now, it's kind of hard to see on this one because it's buried up underneath there. So I'm going to use this one as an aid. So what you want to do is you want to have the plug plugged onto this. And then you're going to set your meter to 12 volt or to DC again, DC voltage. And you're going to touch this one to the center one because that says B positive on there. And then you're going to want to ground it. And you should get battery voltage on the meter. It should be real close, within a few tenths. So this one was reading like 13 and a quarter. This on the meter, it should read about 13. Now, if it doesn't, that means it's an open circuit somewhere. That doesn't necessarily mean that this regulator is bad. But if you have an extra regulator laying around, like we always have a bunch that we take off of junk engines, just to make sure that that's not the problem before you go buying a regulator and find out that's not what's wrong, I'm going to take this one here and we're going to plug it onto this one. Now it's got to be grounded. See how this has got a ground wire here? This ground wire is going from here to here. Now, they usually use a ground wire on these crawlers where the voltage regulator is mounted to the side of the plastic blower shroud. A lot of them will have it mounted to the plastic blower shroud. Well, then you have to ground it because this is plastic. But this one is grounded with a ground wire, and the regulator is grounded to this plate through these screws. So this one's really well grounded, this one here. But the one we're using for a test isn't grounded. So I'm just going to use a jumper wire to ground it. Because when I tested this, like I just showed you, I wasn't getting any battery voltage on my meter. But I got a sneaky suspicion that this regulator is not bad. I think we've got another issue somewhere. So I'm going to ground this. And then we're going to start the engine. And I'm going to put the meter on the battery again. And if that regulator is bad, we should get more than 13 volts coming out of this. We should be getting more than 13 volts. No change. So it's not the regulator. The regulator's good. So, you know what that tells me? Got a blown fuse somewhere. Let me hook this back up. Alright, got that hooked back up. So, over here, where all these red wires are running in, because red wires usually mean power wires, I'm sure there's fuses in this box. Yeah. There's 2 fuses and a relay. Because some of these mowers will have the charging system will be on its own fuse. And some mowers, everything runs off of one fuse. So if you blow a fuse, the mower won't even start. But this one's starting. So this 15 amp fuse is probably the one that would start the mower. So if I pull that out and hit the key, yeah, see, nothing. So this is a starting circuit. Put the fuse back in. I'll hit the key to show you. Okay. So now we're going to take Mr. Test Light and we're going to test this 20 amp fuse that's in there. Put that guy on ground. And we got no voltage there. And we got voltage there. So we got a blown fuse. Yep. 20 amp blown fuse. Alright, let me get a fuse. Let me find one. I got one around here somewhere. Hold on, let me go get a fuse. Okay, I got the meter hooked up to the battery. So now I'm going to start this and watch the meter and let's see what happens. The battery is charging now. Now I know what you're saying. I can hear you back there, little Tommy. But why did the fuse blow, Taryl? Why did it blow? Is it going to blow again? There's a reason the fuse blowed. Okay, there could be a couple of reasons. All right? And then we're going to do a little test, too, to see if it's going to blow. But let's go over the couple of reasons why that fuse may have blown. The first one is maybe the new battery, not the new battery, but the original battery that was in the mower, because when they sell you these mowers, they put the cheapest battery there is in there. So it could be a couple scenarios. Again, this is a commercial mower. They're using it commercially, so a lot of different people are operating it, and a lot of different things could happen that we don't know unless we had a camera on it or a crystal ball. Okay. They might have left the key on. It killed the battery. They go to run the mower. Oh, we got all these lawns to cut. The battery's dead. Get the jumper pack. They hook the jumper pack up backwards. Boom! Pop the fuse. It's still not starting. It's not starting. Oh, Oh, we got the battery hooked up wrong. All right, let's hook it up right way. Hook it up the right way. They try it. It still doesn't start. But if that was the case, it would have blown the 15 amp fuse. Because that's the starting fuse. Because remember I pulled it out and it wouldn't start? So that would have blew that fuse if that happened. Okay, another scenario. They could have left the key on. The battery was dead. They had to jump it to get it started. They get it running. Battery's totally dead. Now this alternator in this charging system is trying to charge this battery. And then they pull this button for the electric clutch, which takes a lot of electricity to run that. So now the electrical system is fighting to charge the battery and run the electric clutch at the same time. So the electrical system is screaming, "Stop it, you're overloading me, you're overloading me, you're overloading me." Boom, pops the fuse. Or there's a short somewhere. But let's do this. Let's do a little test. Let's run it. And let's have the blades on. We'll kick the blades on and we'll have it running. And then I'm going to take my thermal temperature gun here. And I'm going to point it at that fuse with the blades on. And we're going to see if that thing is going to get hot. If it's going to get hotter. Okay, so the temperature went up a little bit, you know, that's expected, but I don't think running it any longer is going to matter because the fuse, the old fuse wasn't melted, like it got extremely hot and melted. Usually it's a short, you know, from positive to ground is what blows the fuse. So, you know, looking at all the wires, there's no evidence of Fluffy being in there chewing on the wires. All the wires are in harnesses. There's nothing skinned through. This thing is new. The fuse is still good. It didn't blow. So I don't know why the fuse blew. But something shorted it out. But inspecting everything looks good. And I can't believe that that other shop wouldn't have known that that fuse blown. I don't know what they were charging or what they were doing as a warranty. You know, trying to tell Taryl or Kroller what it was they found, because it is under warranty. And if it's under warranty and they're fixing it, I'm sure they're not charging this guy when he picked it up every time. But my only guess would be they overloaded the system, because I've seen that before, where they're jumping dead batteries or bad batteries and trying to run these things, and it keeps killing the battery to the point where, you know, it might have blew that fuse. Maybe the fuse was faulty. I don't know. But it didn't seem to be getting hot or warming up. And usually if it keeps blowing fuses, that's because you got a short to ground somewhere. And we put the new fuse in, and it didn't pop. Now, if I put the new fuse in and it popped right away, then I know that there's something going to ground. But this thing, it blew the fuse. Again, I don't know what that other shop did, if they just kept charging the battery, if they put a new regulator on there. I don't know. This doesn't look like it'd been replaced. I have no idea what those knuckleheads over there do. But all I know is this guy is not happy. If I was him, I would go back to that place and get my money back on their stupid extended warranty. Because what good is that going to do? You spent all that money, and what good is that going to do if you take it into a place and they can't even fix it? Then they got to take it to another guy like me that finds it's got a bad fuse. Let's discuss all this in the comments section, and let's see what kind of scenarios you come up with on why that fuse why it blew, and why it's not blowing now. Because I'm going to give this back to them, and we're going to find out, because I'm going to tell them, let me know how it goes, if the mower's okay, and if it keeps killing the battery again, I'm going to show them where that fuse is, and they can tell me if it blew another fuse or not. Sound good? Sound like a plan, grass rats? All right, so let's round this out. What do you think? Let's comment below. Tell me your thoughts. So, follow me with your blown fuses. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Go to our web store, check out what we got there. We got all kinds of stuff like this Easy Works. Now, if it was Easy Works, then you know it's no good. Because if it doesn't suck, it definitely blows. You can get this shirt. And as always, there's your dinner. Woo! Blown fuse in the other shop, who supposedly got all these factory trained technicians. They've gone to school, they've done all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. And they couldn't find a blown fuse. Maybe they should start watching my videos over there. Maybe they'll learn something. Well, it's been a couple of weeks since we did that repair on that Toro Titan, and I checked with the customer, and he said it's still charging the battery and the fuse hasn't blown. So I don't know why the fuse blew other than what I thought it could have been, but it seems to be working fine.